Welcome to One Angry Black Republican Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3, which I am titling The Neanderthal Thinking. Neanderthal Thinking is what President Joe Biden called the decisions made by Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, both of whom have begun discussions about opening up their states to 100% capacity and ending the mask mandate. And this is all in, contradiction to the CDC's statement that, relaxing restrictions now could, by the way, lead to an uptick in, deaths related to COVID-19. So, and as, being among the Neanderthal thinkers, okay, I got to be transparent here. The jury has been out for me, since this pandemic began. As a black man in America, having experienced, the legacy, the horrible legacy of slavery and its effect on black people in America, I am very, very skeptical about, just believing blindly anything that comes out of America. Okay. And until America has pulled that knife, the proverbial knife out of our back, gave us some type of antiseptic to, avoid a cultural infection and, sealed the wound, to healing. Okay. I'm of Malcolm X's ilk. You can't stick a knife in a man's back and pull it out halfway and call it progress. And that's where we've been in American culture. We have been in a state of disarray as a result of the systemic racism that has, continued to, grow like a cancer within our culture. We wake up and we look at each other and, think that, the kind of hate that, we can point to on so many different levels, self-hate, we think that just came out of nowhere, and it didn't. So when I hear, people like, former President Barack Obama, make these grand, statements that, oh, we know what's been done to us, and yes, this has been done to us, but it's time to, start doing for ourselves and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. I look at people who think like this, and I say to myself, thank God you're among the elite. It takes a 1% elitist in this country to not be able to empathize with, the, dramatic effects, of such a brutal system designed to produce the kind of self-hate that we see manifesting itself in our culture. So, kudos for you, but, I speak with the masses, with the lady at the well. Like, we have been through some shit in this government. And, some of us are still standing all the way in the shit. So it's like to trust anything that comes out of America. It's extraordinary in those moments where I say, okay, I could buy that one. That's an extraordinary moment for me. Okay, I could buy that one. Maybe that got some merit to it, some teeth. But to and let's just rewind a little bit. Let's go to the whole beginning of this pandemic. Where almost half of the deaths that were coming, these numbers that were being pushed out by these, states and, cities and, which put the death toll at half black. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally if 16,000 people died from, quote unquote COVID-19, 8,000 were black. Okay. And this, launches this whole dialogue about systemic racism and the effects of systemic racism. And, one thing I've learned about the political environment is that, they're going to go the path of least resistance when it comes to, the advocacy of any particular idea. Okay. So if it's going to benefit them to keep them in power, they're going with it in most cases. And they're going to try to balance that line as much as possible. And, we've accepted that kind of culture in America. We've accepted it and, and not de facto accepted because, most people don't want to rock the boat because their livelihood is associated with that boat. So it's like, you could be in the midst of some shit going down and, you turn the other cheek, so to speak, or turn away from, the moment so you don't have to get your own hands dirty. Okay. And so many of us live like that in America, so many will not make those sacrifices because we've become so conditioned to, the lifestyles that we've created. We don't want to interrupt that at all. So, we can watch many injustices happen and just blow over it. And, much of the political community, wants this reality amongst the masses. It keeps us dormant. It keeps us at a stalemate or a standstill. Okay. So, and even now with this whole, pandemic, so many people having lost their lives from something. And I say something deliberately. Okay. I'm not going to definitively say this is what has been going on because I don't know. Okay. And that's, the problem of, American capitalism is like, we don't know what our next moment brings, and, there's no real control over our lives. Okay. There's an illusion of control. Okay. But, at the end of the day, we follow the orders and we follow the rules of, the individuals who are in, positions of power to move people and steer people like cattle. And, the American public has been steered like cattle. Okay. You say anything that contradicts the science, so to speak, the CDC. And I've been getting a lot of flack from my friends, lately, which really, quiet as kept, really hurts me, emotionally to an extent, when, I got a friend saying to me, people that I love, saying to me, B, why don't you be more sensitive? My mother died. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with, that idea? Am I a Neanderthal Biden because I don't believe that, we are being slaughtered by this COVID-19? I believe maybe something's killing us, but to say it's COVID-19 and to force me to wear, this mask every day in order to buy groceries. Can't come in the store without the mask on in order to buy groceries. It's not like I can go, plot out, some parcel of land and grow me some shit in order to sustain myself and, go shoot a couple of deers and, try to live my own way. This is not, I can't run into the mountains, in order to live an independent life. I must coexist among other people. Yes. But that coexistence among other people has protocols and has, stipulations and conditions, okay, on my life and on my movement. Okay, so I can't go in the grocery store and buy groceries unless I have a mask on or I subject myself to some temperature check. Okay, I can't, function as I need to independently in a society where, these mandates are set, non-negotiable. Okay. And, anyone who challenges, the CDC, so to speak, our president has just made it okay, for the American public to call them a Neanderthal. Okay. So now I'm a Neanderthal because, I've been, one of the lucky ones, I guess. I haven't had any sicknesses and I haven't come down with anything. And I've been out here every single day working, the entire COVID moment, interacting with many different people during this COVID moment. Okay. And, I haven't had the need to be hooked on a ventilator or any of this, these things that, are associated with, contracting COVID-19. Okay. I am not saying that there aren't people who have dealt with something and, that has led to the loss of their life, and God rest each of their souls. Because I am empathetic and sympathetic to people losing their lives. Okay. But, to conflate that into my lack of care, okay, my lack of empathy or my rhetoric. Oh my God, B, you shouldn't be, using this rhetoric, because it's insensitive and you're, steering people. I mean, come on. It's like, and now we can't be friends because now, oh my God, anybody who doesn't believe what I believe, block them off my, out of my life. That is horrible. I will just say it. It's horrible. Okay. Because ultimately, I'm a thinker. I'm a conscientious, critical thinker. Okay. And when I'm thinking about things conscientiously and critically, okay, I'm taking all of these, realities into consideration. Okay. We've been wearing a mask now for a year. Okay. It's like so much a part of our culture now. Unbelievably, that an entire people can be walked down this avenue with very little resistance. Okay. And, the way it has been, placed in our laps. Okay. If you don't, have any care for people, you must not have any care for people if you don't believe what the CDC said. So the CDC said, it's not a good moment to relax restrictions. Okay, because, and now this is the science, because everyone throws that in your face, the science. Well, this is the science. If you don't, the mass culture has been helping to reduce, the effects of COVID-19. Well, wearing if everyone in a society is wearing a mask, that's automatically going to reduce the emissions of, germs into the atmosphere. That's just common sense. Okay. But what are, and now we got to go look at these statistics and say, okay, well, before, let's look at post or pre-mask culture. Okay. And let's look at let's take any, airborne pathogens that, might affect people's health. Okay. We could look at the common cold. We could look at the flu. We could look at pneumonia. We could look at any one of these things. And, in the mask culture, what were the, numbers, the highest numbers that we dealt with in terms of, catching the common cold or pneumonia or the flu. And then let's look at mask culture. Okay. The mask, culture data, where we examine all of those, months where, the majority of the population was being compliant with wearing masks. And let's look at, the fact that, let's look at what those numbers look like then. Are we going to see a reduction in cases of the flu or cases of the common cold or pneumonia? Yes, I will say that definitively. And I don't know. I haven't done any scientific studies, but common sense tells me that if 90% of the population starts wearing a mask, they're going to reduce some of that shit from getting out there into the atmosphere. Okay? So yes, there's going to be a reduction. Okay? So, these people have a way of being disingenuous in the pushing of their own propaganda, to achieve whatever outcomes they're seeking to achieve. And that's what we're experiencing. Okay? We're experiencing, these commonsensical realities that are being conflated into these, bombastic claims of, doom and gloom, to the point where we're all living in like constant fear. We are living in constant fear. And then finally, when, these two governors step out into the fray and say, you know what, screw this. We're going to open up our state. We're going to start segueing ourselves back into some real sense of normalcy. I don't want to spend the last formative years of my life wearing a goddamn mask. That is crazy. I want to see people's faces again. I don't want to live, the next 10, 15, 20 years, if I live that long, worried about the boogeyman. And don't tell me the boogeyman's real. Okay? I would like to make decisions for myself again. And I'm sure many Americans feel the same way. But when you have your friends, the people you love, that you've grown fond of, people that this is our lives we built. I got so many friends, that I want to continue to communicate with, that I want to continue to love and continue to care about, who take these Nazi-like approaches or stances like, how dare you say that, COVID is a hoax. Go tell that to, X, Y, and Z whose mother died or father died or son, was lost or daughter died. I mean, you're going to join them if you do this. And how different is that kind of dialogue? How different is that from what we experience or what people experienced during the Red Scare? Where McCarthy is, railing on anything that seems communist. And by the way, how conscientious and how smart are we really as a people when, we can be easily, moved in a path of anger, to anything that happens? What happened to being calm and collected and the maturity that comes with being able to have conversations with people without getting your emotions involved? What happened to that push or that kind of cultural maturity? What happened to that? What happened to it? Now we have, these are the days of, the Jonesin presidents, making fun of people. What kind of higher order, social reality is that? Being sarcastic to individuals. Maybe if Obama wasn't sarcastic, to Donald Trump, maybe Donald Trump wouldn't have ran for president. Maybe if Donald Trump wasn't, sarcastic to, almost everyone on the Democratic, side of the fence, Pocahontas and Sleepy Joe. Maybe if he wasn't doing all that, maybe the Democrats wouldn't have, concocted such a mass cheating reality to make sure they won an election. Allegedly. And now we have, President Biden, calling these, two men who are grappling with the same realities all of us are, who had the audacity to step out and say, okay, you know what? Screw this mask culture. Screw this. We're Mississippi. We don't want our people walking around in masks for the rest of their lives. We're getting rid of it and we're going to take our chances. And we're going to get rid of it and take our chances. Oh my God. They don't care about the people. Oh my God. They're going to start murdering black people. And don't get me wrong. I am very, very outraged and appalled at the number of black deaths to this whatever. Whether we want to call it COVID-19 or just, America. Black people have been dying, twofold, juxtaposed by whites, all of it, of our existence in this culture, in this country. And I'm not of that, that place of optimists, among the optimists who say, well, it's time to start pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. No, these people are still holding your hands. You can't use your hands to tie your shoes or your boots or pull yourself up if they're still holding your hand. They still got your hand locked, okay, to a fence. Bit around your mouth. You can't talk. And now they could use our own, to make sure that we stay complacent and in position. Okay? And in place. In our place. So to speak. So Neanderthal thinking. What else is Neanderthal thinking, Biden? Come on, tell me. What else is Neanderthal thinking? Am I a Neanderthal because I don't want to suck in microscopic shards of cloth all the rest of my days? Am I a Neanderthal because I want to get rid of this mask and breathe easier? Am I a Neanderthal? Am I a Neanderthal because I want to see people's faces again? Neanderthal thinking. That goes right in line with social mediocrity. The same social mediocrity that we have been, subjected to living under since I can remember. All of my life. All of my life. Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Where do we say enough is enough? Enough is enough. Let's step out on faith. Last week, I got the opportunity to fellowship for the first time in so long. Sit in a chapel. It was me, it was a young minister and another sister. We sat in the chapel singing hymns. It was such an amazing experience. It was such an amazing feeding of the soul. That's what we are as a nation. We sit in the pews together and we fellowship. We read the scriptures. We let God, where two or more are gathered, God is right there. That's what we're missing as a people. That's what we're missing as a people. Everybody has the formula, the right formula. Everybody has the formula, but nobody has anything. Everybody got the formula, but nobody has anything. We're in the same place we were a year ago, with no end in sight. And the people who are in positions of power, and I'm talking about anybody who can sit in their home and order food, order from the, Walmart, all your groceries, Instacart all your groceries, never have to walk outside a day in your life. Okay? That's the new bourgeoisie. That's the new bourgeoisie. Because there's some people who have to go out into the mud and get it. They got to go out in the mud every day. They got to get up, they got to get dressed, and they got to get out. And they got to brave all of the atmosphere every day. Many of those are the ones that are like, listen, man, I'm tired of the mask. I'm tired of the mask. And there's some people, who don't have to wear that mask because they're home. Get up in the morning. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? And why would a person who gets to get up every morning out their bed, walk over to their computer, don't even have to put no pants on, Keenan Ivory Wayans? Oops, don't even have to put no pants on. Put a top on, put a shirt and a jacket on. Sit at the computer. Go to work. All day. Hit the pause button, cover up the camera, run and take a shower, go have some sex. Yeah, let's keep it real. Go to the bathroom, eat, smoke a blunt, do what you want to do. You're home. Log back in, finish out work. You don't have to buy clothes. Don't have to buy gas. Don't have to go out for groceries because you can Instacart all your groceries. Oh, let's just pop up, Walmart. Let's just pop up, ShopRite, direct deposit into your checking account every, pay period. It is easy for people who are living like that to say, COVID, you win. You win, COVID. We're going to stay in the house forever and we're going to make our live. We're with you, COVID. That's Neanderthal thinking. Those are the Neanderthals, Biden. Those are the Neanderthals. Those are your self-serving, those are the new bourgeoisie. That's the new bourgeoisie. That's the new bourgeoisie. Because anybody who experiences that reality is not going to want to leave that reality. So yes, we're going to get right in line with the CDC. We don't care whether or not the CDC is just, is a corrupt organization. And I'm not saying the CDC is. I just know the CIA sold drugs in the black community. I know syphilis was experimented and black people were used as guinea pigs. These are some of the things I know. I know they gave smallpox to the Native Americans and shot down 60 million buffalo to cut off their food supply and force them off their land and boxed them in reservations and gave them alcohol. I know these things happen. I know our government is not always genuine in their thinking. They're very disingenuous in many ways. So yes, you know, the new Neanderthal, and the only reason I'm using that term is because our president made it acceptable. Our president made it acceptable. Neanderthal thinking. I wouldn't leave my house at all. We can do this forever. There are some people out here who will make up their minds so that they can continue to live the way they are based off of, quote unquote, what somebody is saying, especially if it's in their best interest. That's what they're going to make their mind up. Okay, you know what? The CDC said it's still not safe. Let's stay home. We don't want to go back to school. We don't want to do none of this. But the people who are out and about, moving around in the world, still engaging, still moving, many of them are fed up with mass culture. We're the ones who got to put the mask on every day and brave the wild, so to speak. So now you got a state. And yes, you're not going to be able to please everyone. Everyone's not going to be able to be pleased in this situation. But you got the state of Texas and the state of Mississippi ready to move in a different direction. You know, maybe we should honor that as the control part of the experiment, because you have so many other states that are like, wait a minute, we're not moving at all. So now we have to worry about the new talk. Well, you know what? Since Texas and Mississippi opened up their states 100% and they're getting rid of the mask mandate, then every time we get visitors from Texas or Mississippi into our state, man, they got to get quarantined for a month. Or how about this? Block the borders. If you're coming out of Texas, and you're coming out of Mississippi, don't allow them in to other states. We don't see the groundwork being laid for a new civil war. Are we not seeing that? Are we not seeing the groundwork for a new civil war? Neanderthal thinking, Biden? Because you're accepting this narrative that is, you know, moving us to a conflict. Is that presidential, Biden? Neanderthal thinking? You know, did you get that one from Murphy? You know, who masks his racism by, you know, using the euphemism bonehead? Because I'm almost certain bonehead is a euphemism for black people. Anytime he says that, you know, bonehead. Neanderthal thinking. No, President Biden, I call it social mediocrity. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What happened to that golden rule in America? What happened to that golden rule? Have we just let debauchery, run amok? Have we all been had, bamboozled, led astray? Have we all? I don't know what the future holds as far as COVID-19. I do know I believe in God. I do know that I have faith. I do know that I lean on the everlasting arm. These things I know. I do know that there's no guarantees, especially in America. It's time for New Jersey to make a step up or to stand. Because I say we join the governors of Texas and Mississippi. I say we join the Texas governor and the Mississippi governor, Governor Abbott and Governor Reeves. I say we join them. I say New Jersey becomes the third Neanderthal thinking state. I doubt very seriously if Murphy and the Democratic Party and the Democratic machine in America, in New Jersey, would even entertain that. I doubt if they would even entertain that. So the question is, how do we move New Jersey? How do we move New Jersey into the direction of thinking so that we can begin to see our state shake off the fear? Maybe we can start off with opening up the churches. How about some real unity amongst the Republicans? How about some, humanism, injections in amongst Republicans in this state? The Democrats are out to lunch. McGreevy's, this carpetbagger, they're out to lunch. And at this point, the Republican Party is shooting itself in the foot. Because we're thinking about, supporting Jack Ciatrelli. Or Citrelli. I can't even, this guy, he just sends me in that, place where it's like, first of all, you're not even a loyalist. He's not a loyalist. And not to say that, not to say that we should have all just, followed, President Trump, over the cliff. But if you're loyal to a party and you're loyal to a message and you're loyal to a platform, and you look for an opportunity to jump ship when the going gets tough, you're not somebody I want to ride with. Okay? I'm just looking at principle here. And I'll be the first to say, Donald Trump, dude, you didn't have enough humanity to focus on, the people that you should have given more voice to. Okay? One, there was Blegs in New Jersey that was looking for support to begin a campaign of humanism amongst, black voters in the state of New Jersey far more humanistic and on point than some of those individuals you supported. So, I'm not tooting the Trump horn, but I'm gonna say this: that brother wasn't he signed on with Governor Murphy, to secure himself the positioning to be able to run for governor in New Jersey. I'm not supporting that. I'm going with her singer. We need a new reawakening in the Republican Party. This is a war call. Okay? It is time to set a new mark. It is time to set the record straight. Enough of this, social mediocrity. Enough of this, bonehead thinking. Yeah, I stole your word, Murphy. Because you guys are bonehead thinkers. President Biden is a bonehead thinker. They're the real Neanderthals. To keep this mass culture in place indefinitely is a travesty of justice. So, in conclusion, I will say, big shout out Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, and big shout out to Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi. I'm supporting that effort. So I guess President Biden, that makes me the latest Neanderthal thinker. Peace out till next week. One Angry Black Republican Podcast.